Howdy, folks. Welcome to Reading Cowboys Deep Dives, Heart Health Series. Grab your metaphorical lasso because today we're roping in some truly incredible insights about that hardest working muscle in your body. Ever wonder if your smartwatch is really doing more than just telling time? Or maybe if a tiny tweak to your daily routine could make a huge difference for your heart down the trail. We're here to cut through all that medical jargon, really deliver you the gold nuggets of knowledge so you can feel empowered, not overwhelmed by the exciting future of heart health. Today, we're diving deep into how cutting-edge technology, personalized medicine, and even revolutionary gene editing are transforming how we understand, monitor, and treat cardiovascular diseases. Get ready for some genuine aha moments. These might just change how you think about your heart.
It's a really crucial deep dive because what's fascinating here is just how widespread cardiovascular disease, or CVD, truly is. It's not just a statistic, right? It touches nearly every family and community. In the European Union alone, for example, it affects over 13 million people annually and causes around 1.7 million deaths each year. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's like losing the entire population of a major city year after year.
Wow, that's staggering.
It is. And the financial strain, enormous, costing the EU almost EUR 282 billion per year. So these numbers, they really underscore immense healthcare challenges. Despite having some of the most advanced medical technology available today, we're still grappling with significant hurdles. Access to innovation is, surprisingly uneven. Awareness of CVD risks remains lower than it should be. And those traditional one-size-fits-all approaches, they often miss the mark because, every individual's heart journey is unique. Our mission today is to explore how these persistent challenges are being met head-on with truly groundbreaking new solutions. Solutions that promise a future where heart health is much more precise and personal.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. For years, getting a detailed heart checkup meant a dedicated trip to the doctor. Usually involved wires, waiting rooms, kind of like a whole song and dance.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
But what if a significant part of that vital monitoring could happen with you all the time? Right on your wrist, or maybe tucked away in your pocket. That's the incredible shift we're seeing. Moving from traditional, often expensive, and frankly hard-to-access diagnostic tools to a whole new frontier of wearable devices. And these aren't just simple step counters anymore, not by a long shot. We're talking about low-cost, real-time, continuous monitoring of vital parameters. Things like your heart rate, ECG, oxygen saturation, activity levels, even blood pressure. Think of it like having a diligent little scout riding shotgun on your health, constantly keeping an eye on the herd, providing data that, used to only be available in a clinic setting.
Yeah.
And what's important to understand is that these aren't just random gadgets. They're designed with broad impact in mind. They often adhere to the World Health Organization's assured criteria. That stands for affordable, sensitive, specific, user-friendly, rapid, robust, equipment-free, and deliverable to end users. So this isn't just about high-tech for a select few. It's aimed at accessibility and impact for many.
It's true, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, these devices aren't magic, of course. They rely on some incredibly clever science to see what's happening inside your body, all from the outside. There are basically 3 main technologies at play that allow them to gather such detailed information without being intrusive. The oldest method is galvanic contact.
Okay.
This is where the device literally makes electrical contact with your skin. It works by measuring tiny electrical potential differences, much like a traditional electrocardiogram and ECG, to detect your heart's electrical signals. It can also measure changes in applied signals, like thoracic impedance, that helps detect fluid in the lungs, a crucial indicator for conditions like heart failure.
Ah, right. Lung fluid.
Yeah, you could say it's literally feeling the electricity of your heart. Then we have photoplethysmography, or PPG. This is probably the most common tech you'd find in popular smartwatches.
Like the Apple Watch, Fitbits.
Exactly. Apple Watch, Fitbit, even smart rings like the Oura Ring. This technology is quite ingenious, actually. It uses a small light-emitting diode, an LED, to shine light into your skin. And then an optical detector measures how much of that light is reflected or transmitted back.
Okay.
So as your heart beats, blood flows in and out of your peripheral circulation, causing subtle changes in blood volume. These changes affect how much light is absorbed and reflected, and the device picks up on those tiny variations. By analyzing these light fluctuations, it can reveal your heart rate variability, blood pressure, and even blood oxygen saturation, or SpO2.
Wow. It's almost like shining a tiny flashlight into your veins and watching the subtle pulse of life.
That's a great analogy. And you'll often find green light used for heart rate monitoring, because while red light can penetrate deeper, green light is less prone to motion artifacts. So it's more accurate when you're moving around.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Which is pretty important for a wearable, right? And the third technology gaining traction is radio frequency, or RF waves.
Arc waves. Okay.
These are electromagnetic waves that get distorted when they interact with human organs, including your heart and lungs. By analyzing this distortion, these devices can detect various parameters: heart rate, respiration rate, blood pressure, even lung fluid.
So you can imagine it as a tiny, non-invasive radar constantly checking on your internal workings.
Exactly. Providing a continuous stream of information about your cardiovascular and respiratory health. Each of these methods offers a unique window into your body, and together they're creating a much more comprehensive picture of your health than ever before. That's fascinating. A tiny radar inside our gadgets. And here's where it gets really interesting for us listeners, right? Because these aren't just concepts. They're being integrated into products you might already be wearing. Or they're making a huge difference in specialized medical care. Let's talk about ECG monitoring. For years, if your doctor wanted to monitor your heart rhythm over time, you'd get sent home with a Holter monitor.
Right, the portable box with all the wires.
Exactly. A portable device, multiple electrodes, wear it for 24 hours or longer. It worked, but yeah, it could be a bit cumbersome. Now imagine a device like SAVVY from Slovenia. It offers real-time, continuous ECG with an astonishing 500-week battery life on a single charge.
Wait, 500 weeks?
Yes, you heard that right, 500 weeks. It connects to a mobile app called MobBekshey for immediate physician sharing and early atrial fibrillation, or AFib detection. Or consider a palm-sized WellU personal ECG monitor that can give you 24-hour continuous monitoring with just 2 electrodes. Much simpler.
Much simpler, yeah.
And then there's the Apple Watch. It uses a 3-electrode system right from your wrist. It provides ECG measurements that are comparable to a single-lead clinical ECG.
Which is pretty remarkable for a consumer device.
Absolutely. Studies have shown it has an impressive 98.3% sensitivity for detecting AFib and 99.6% specificity for identifying a normal rhythm. What this means in practical terms is that it's nearly as good as a clinical ECG for flagging these conditions right there on your wrist.
That accessibility is key.
Totally. And for the ultimate in comfort and subtlety, flexible e-skins are emerging. These attach directly to your skin, like a temporary tattoo. Some have intelligent 12-lead monitors using AI for over 99% accuracy in diagnosing arrhythmias.
Wow, 12-lead accuracy like a tattoo.
Yeah. Imagine a graphene silk fibroin mesh or maybe a M-Sena polyurethane design sticking seamlessly to your skin, providing medical-grade data without you even noticing it's there. Now, for heart rate HR monitoring, the precision is also advancing significantly. Electrical measurements now use piezoelectric sensors. These convert the tiny vibrations from your heartbeat into electrical signals.
Okay, sensing the vibrations.
Exactly. Devices using this, like some e-skins or portable cardiac monitors, are achieving correlations within a mere 3% error of standard medical devices. That's pretty accurate.
Very close.
And most commercial devices you're familiar with, Oura Ring, Apple Watch, Fitbit, they're PPG-based, using that light method we talked about.
Right.
The big challenge with these has always been motion artifacts. Those unwanted signals caused by movement that can distort readings.
Yeah, if you're jogging or something.
Exactly. But clever solutions are constantly being developed. They integrate accelerometers, sometimes EMG signals, or even remote PPG using cameras to clean up those signals and ensure the heart rate data is consistently accurate, whether you're sitting still or on the move. When it comes to blood pressure, BP monitoring, we're rapidly moving past the uncomfortable, often inconvenient cuff. You know the one.
Oh, yeah. Not exactly portable.
Not at all. Cuffless wearables are here, and they're becoming remarkably accurate. Take the Actia bracelet, for example. It's tiny, lightweight, 20 grams PPG-based device. Measures BP for over a week on a single charge.
A week? That's useful.
Definitely. And with just monthly calibration to a standard monitor, it's comparable to traditional ambulatory BP monitors. Even bioimpedance rings, like one developed by Cell and colleagues, are emerging. What's particularly innovative about this ring is that it's insensitive to skin tones. That addresses a common limitation in optical sensors.
That's a good point, yeah. Ensures it works for everyone.
Right, and it estimates BP with very low error, a mere 0.11 INA and 0.11 fucline I9 5.27 millimeter Hg systolic. Correlates highly with medical-grade cuffs.
Those are impressive numbers.
They are. And flexible e-skin BP monitors, like those graphene-based Takis, adhere directly to the wrist. They offer continuous and accurate readings with errors as low as 0.21 INA 5.8 millimeter Hg systolic.
So continuous monitoring becomes much more feasible?
Exactly. It's important to remember, though, Many of these still need periodic calibration to a standard monitor, and they're subject-specific to ensure their accuracy for you.
Makes sense. Calibration is key for accuracy.
But this isn't just about convenience. It's about making continuous BP monitoring accessible, which could be a real game changer for managing hypertension. And for those managing heart failure, thoracic fluid index, TFI monitoring, is absolutely crucial. Fluid buildup is a major sign of trouble.
A critical parameter, yes.
Traditionally, monitoring this meant implantable devices like ICDs or cardiomems, which are invasive procedures.
Right, requiring surgery.
But now, wearables are stepping up. The PhysioFlow uses 6 external electrodes to measure hemodynamic parameters non-invasively. The Ready S-Vest, which uses electromagnetic beams to detect soot in the lungs, has shown a remarkable 48% reduction in rehospitalization rates for heart failure patients.
48%, that's huge. That's a massive impact on quality of life and healthcare costs.
Absolutely massive. Even a necklace-shaped device called COVA-2, using chest bioimpedance, can predict heart failure events. Data shows TFI increasing over 40% and stroke volume decreasing 8% in many cases before an event actually occurs.
So it gives a warning signal.
An early warning, exactly.
Right.
Then there's MicroCore, or POR, by Zoll. It's a body-mounted device using radio frequency. Measures TFI, respiration, activity, HR, ECG, and posture. Pretty comprehensive.
All in one device.
Yeah. And a study found that patients monitored by clinicians using CORE were 38% less likely to be hospitalized. It demonstrates the power of continuous, non-invasive insight. So, expert, these devices sound truly transformative. What does this all mean for our listeners? If someone is curious about their heart health, how should they approach these powerful tools?
That's a great question. What this means for you, the listener, is a significant shift towards proactive health management. If you're generally healthy, but curious about your heart, a validated smartwatch for heart rate and ECG, like an Apple Watch or Fitbit, that can be an excellent tool for general wellness and early detection of arrhythmias like AFib. It's like having a preliminary health check happening in the background of your life.
A little background checkup.
Exactly. However, it's important to understand their limitations. For instance, they're generally not as precise for tracking energy expenditure as maybe a dedicated fitness tracker might be.
Good point.
And for those with specific conditions like heart failure, these specialized remote monitoring devices we discussed, they are truly game changers, offering insights that can prevent hospitalizations and really improve daily management. But these aren't devices you just pick up off the shelf. They're something you'd discuss with your doctor. They can guide you on the most appropriate technology for your specific needs.
Right. It's a conversation with your healthcare provider.
Absolutely. The key takeaway here is that while wearables are fantastic for monitoring your health trends and flagging potential issues, they are not, generally speaking, for diagnosis alone.
Wow.
Always share the data you collect with your healthcare provider so they can put it in context and give you the best, most personalized medical advice. They're a tool for partnership in your health, not a replacement for professional guidance.
That makes perfect sense. These tools empower us, but always in conjunction with our doctors. Now, expert, with all this data streaming in from wearables, heart rate, ECG, blood pressure, fluid levels, it sounds like an incredible amount of information.
It really is a deluge of data sometimes.
How do we even begin to make sense of it all? That's where artificial intelligence, or AI, really rides in like a digital cavalry, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's precisely where AI becomes indispensable. Simply put, AI is about computer algorithms that can learn to extract information from incredibly complex data sets. It mimics and even extends human intelligence, allowing us to handle issues in medicine that are, frankly, far too intricate for human eyes alone, or even multiple human eyes collaborating.
Seeing patterns we just can't see.
Exactly. Its potential is truly transformative, enhancing diagnostic accuracy, predicting patient outcomes with greater precision, personalizing treatments, and crucially, identifying patterns that are often imperceptible to us no matter how experienced we are. It's about finding the needle in the haystack and sometimes, even spotting a haystack we didn't know was there.
That's an incredible capability. Think about it. A doctor meticulously reads an ECG, right? Examining those squiggly lines for clues. But an AI, with its capacity to process just vast amounts of data, can see things in those lines that a human eye might easily miss, picking up on incredibly subtle signals. Let's look at some incredible applications in ECG interpretation. For atrial fibrillation, or AFib, for instance, an AI-enabled ECG can identify patients with AFib even when their heart rhythm appears normal, during what's called normal sinus rhythm.
That's the really striking part, detecting it before it's obvious.
It's huge. One study showed an area under the curve, or AUC, of 0.87. That translates to about 79.4% accuracy, and that improves to 0.90 or 88.3% accuracy within a 31-day window of an actual AFib episode. Expert, what this remarkable 88.3% accuracy signifies is AI's ability to catch the subtle electrical whispers of AFib nearly a month before it even manifests as an irregular beat.
Which is just incredible from a prevention standpoint.
Imagine the proactive steps doctors could take with such an early warning. Potentially preventing strokes, offering patients invaluable peace of mind. It also outperforms traditional risk scores, like CHARGE-AF, in predicting future AFib risk, especially when combined with other data.
Right, it adds another layer of predictive power.
An AI-guided screening in high-risk patients. It can significantly increase AFib detection rates, jumping from maybe 1.6% with traditional methods to 7.6% with AI guidance.
So finding many more cases much earlier.
Exactly. More people getting diagnosed and treated sooner.
It's truly a game changer for early detection, and the impact for heart failure, or HF, is equally profound. AI ECG can identify left ventricular dysfunction, where the ejection fraction, basically how much blood your heart pumps out with each beat, is low, say less than or equal to 35%. It does this with an impressive AUC of 0.93, or about 85.7% accuracy.
That's very accurate.
It is, and what's even more remarkable, and this speaks to the AI's ability to see subtle early signs, is that patients with a positive AI ECG, but an otherwise normal echocardiography, a heart ultrasound had a 4 times higher chance of developing left ventricular dysfunction later on.
Wow, so the AI saw something the standard scan missed at that time.
Precisely. It tells us AI can spot those subtle indicators long before they become clinically apparent or show up on traditional scans. In primary care settings, AI has improved the diagnosis of low ejection fraction by a significant 32%.
32% improvement just by adding AI to the ECG read.
Exactly. And advanced deep learning models can predict right ventricular systolic dysfunction with an AUC of 0.84 and left ventricular ejection fraction less than or equal to 40% with an AUC of 0.94, all from a standard 12-lead ECG. It's like having a crystal ball for your heart function.
A crystal ball powered by data, absolutely. And the breakthroughs extend to cardiomyopathies too. Conditions like hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, HCM, and dilated cardiomyopathy, DCM. For DCM, which affects the heart's pumping ability, an AI ECG achieved an AUC of 0.955 for detecting an ejection fraction of 45% or less. And get this, a negative predictive value of over 99%.
Meaning if the AI says you don't have it, it's extremely unlikely that you do.
Exactly. Makes it a powerful screening tool to rule out the condition quickly and confidently. For ACM, a leading cause of sudden cardiac death in young adults, AI ECG can reach an AUC of up to 0.96. That's 87% sensitivity, 90% specificity. And it seems particularly effective in young individuals under 40 years old.
That's crucial for catching it early in that specific population.
Imagine lives saved by such early non-invasive detection. And for valvular heart disease, which affects the heart's valves, aortic regurgitation around 0.77, mitral regurgitation 0.83. Some very respectable detection rates. Definitely. And again, these models often boast negative predictive values greater than 99% in some cases, strongly suggesting its role as a powerful initial screening tool to rule out these conditions and guide further diagnostic steps. It's making complex diagnostics much more accessible and, frankly, efficient.
What's truly fascinating here, though, is that AI's impact isn't limited to just ECGs. It's transforming how we use other diagnostic tools and even our daily interactions with technology in, well, unexpected ways. In imaging, for example, AI greatly enhances the analysis of CT scans, ultrasound, and MRI scans. It can precisely quantify left ventricular ejection fraction, identify subtle wall motion abnormalities, and even assess coronary artery stenosis or plaque buildup with incredible accuracy, often surpassing what the human eye can consistently achieve.
So it helps radiologists and cardiologists see more.
Exactly. Or see it faster and more consistently. For example, the EchoGo software uses AI to automatically contour left ventricular echocardiograms and calculate Simpson's method, a standard measurement. But it goes further. It uses that data to predict in-hospital and follow-up mortality, offering invaluable prognostic insights.
Right.
AI is also leveraging novel inputs that we might never have considered.
Like what?
Believe it or not, AI can detect coronary artery disease, or CAD, from facial photos with an AUC of 0.73 and about 68% accuracy.
From a photo, how does that even work?
It's finding subtle patterns, maybe related to skin texture, coloration, fat distribution, things invisible to us. It's not about replacing doctors, obviously, but about finding patterns that could potentially flag individuals for further screening.
Fascinating.
It can even predict future CAD from SPECT myocardial perfusion imaging, or MPI, with an AUC of 0.80. And beyond diagnostics, AI is making huge strides in workflow enhancements. It can automate clinical documentation, which significantly reduces physician burnout.
A huge issue. Oh, I bet all that paperwork.
Exactly, allowing healthcare professionals to focus more on direct patient care rather than paperwork. By streamlining tedious tasks, AI enhances insights and improves efficiency across the board in clinics and hospitals. There's also cutting-edge research like the Artemis Post algorithm. This was published just in October 2024. It can safely rule out myocardial infarction, a heart attack, in over twice as many patients compared to traditional guidelines.
Twice as many, yeah.
Using just a single high-sensitivity troponin test. This has the potential to really expedite safe discharge from emergency departments, even for early presenters.
People who've only had symptoms for a few hours.
Right, less than 3 hours even.
Yeah.
This ability to quickly and safely rule out a heart attack could open up new opportunities for triage in various care settings, significantly reducing wait times and freeing up critical resources.
So, expert, while AI is clearly helping us understand our hearts better and faster, this next finding might make us all think twice about how often we pick up our mobile phones. It raises an important question, doesn't it? Could our everyday gadgets, which are so helpful in many ways, actually be increasing our risk of heart disease?
Interesting angle. What's the study?
A November 2024 study in the Canadian Journal of Cardiology reported a curious association. Making at least one mobile phone call a week was linked to a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. And this was a composite outcome. Coronary artery disease, stroke, heart failure, AFib.
Just one call a week. That seems broad.
It does. And this association was particularly pronounced in populations already at higher risk, like smokers and diabetic participants. The study also highlighted some potential mediating factors, suggesting that poor sleep patterns could explain over 5% of this association, psychological distress over 11%, and neuroticism, that personality trait characterized by anxiety, moodiness, worry over 2%.
Okay, so it might be related to the reasons people are making calls or their underlying stress levels, perhaps.
That seems plausible. And it's really important to note, this is observational data. No cause and effect has been definitively proven.
Crucial caveat, correlation isn't causation.
Exactly. And other common uses of mobile phones, like texting or watching videos, weren't even studied. But it serves as a fascinating reminder, doesn't it, that even our helpful tools need to be used wisely. And sometimes, stepping away from the screen can benefit your heart, not just your mind. It's about balance, right?
Precisely. It's about understanding the full spectrum of our modern habits and their potential impacts, intended or unintended.
So what does this all mean for you in your daily life? AI is clearly making diagnostic tools more powerful and accessible, giving us unprecedented insights into our cardiovascular health. If you have concerns, maybe a family history of heart conditions, or you just want to be proactive, discuss with your doctor if AI-enhanced screenings are available or relevant for your health profile. They can help interpret these new possibilities for your specific situation.
Good advice. Personalize the approach.
And on a more personal note, maybe be mindful of your screen time and its potential impact on your sleep and stress levels. Both of these are strongly linked to heart health, as we know. Even a little digital detox could be a good thing for your overall well-being and, well, as it turns out, maybe even for your heart. You know, for the longest time, medicine often felt a bit like a standard issue uniform, didn't it? One size fits most, but not everyone perfectly.
A bit blunt sometimes.
But what if your treatment could be custom-tailored, like a perfectly fitted suit, just for you? This is the core idea behind personalized medicine, also often referred to as precision medicine. It's about moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach and instead meticulously tailoring medical decisions and interventions to an individual person.
Tailoring it right down to the individual level.
Exactly. This means basing treatments on your unique genetic makeup, your specific clinical data, your lifestyle, and even how you personally react to certain medications. The goals are ambitious, but incredibly powerful. Minimize side effects, maximize positive outcomes, achieve far more precise diagnoses, and even predict and prevent illnesses from developing in the first place. It's about making healthcare truly revolve around you, the individual, ensuring the right treatment for the right person at the right time.
This raises an important question, though. Why is one-size-fits-all not always ideal? The answer lies in our fundamental uniqueness. We are all distinct individuals, right? Everyone's genetic makeup is slightly different.
Makes sense.
And this genetic variation profoundly affects how common risk factors, age, cholesterol, weight, smoking, actually impact each person. It's why some people develop heart or circulatory conditions while others with similar risk profiles don't, and why the same disease can progress differently from one person to the next.
And why treatments work differently, too.
Crucially, yes. It explains why people react so differently to the same treatments. A medication that works wonders for one person might be ineffective or even cause side effects in another, simply because their bodies process it differently based on their genes. Traditionally, when you're diagnosed, the treatment offered is often based on average results from studies on large populations, the average patient.
Right, but nobody is truly average.
Exactly. So, by analyzing a much wider range of data about your body, genetic info, clinical history, responses to medicines, lifestyle factors, scientists can find common factors but also pinpoint those unique variations. This deep understanding is fundamentally changing how diseases are perceived, diagnosed, and ultimately how we treat them. It's about understanding your personal story, not just the average tale, and crafting a medical strategy that truly aligns with your individual biology.
That distinction between the average tale and your personal story is incredibly powerful. And here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just theory anymore. It's happening right now in research labs, promising to transform how heart conditions are managed. Researchers are working on creating virtual hearts.
Digital twins of our hearts.
Basically, yeah. Imagine building digital models of individual hearts using highly detailed MRI scans and electrical activity data. The purpose? To test different treatments virtually. Predict precisely how they would work for that specific person without them ever having to take a single dose or undergo an invasive procedure first.
So you test it on the computer model before the patient.
Exactly. For instance, this could help predict the best treatments for complex scenarios like heart failure and atrial fibrillation when both coexist, which is common and challenging because treatments for one can sometimes negatively impact the other, right?
A very tricky balance, yes.
This personalized, risk-free approach could lead to far more effective and safer care, avoiding that trial and error in real patients. Then we have personalized pacemakers. Traditional pacemakers typically increase heart rate during exercise in a generic one-size-fits-all way.
Based on a general formula.
Right, based on a general understanding of how a healthy heart might respond. But researchers like Dr. Sam Straw and Dr. Klaus Witt have shown this doesn't always effectively improve exercise capacity in patients with compromised hearts.
It might not be the optimal response for their specific condition.
Precisely. Their research now aims to discover if a personalized heart rate rise, tailored to the individual's unique physiology and specific heart condition, could significantly improve exercise tolerance and maybe even slow down the deterioration of heart function.
So the pacemaker adapts to the patient, not just imposes a standard rhythm.
Exactly. This could mean patients live well and longer, not just with their pacemaker, but because their pacemaker is optimized for them. For preventing heart attack and stroke, we often rely on antiplatelet drugs like clopidogrel and aspirin. They're widely used.
Standard of care for many.
But the reality is they don't work effectively for everyone, and they can carry serious side effects like bleeding. These drugs are often prescribed on a general basis, failing to account for individual variations in platelet response.
How platelets react can vary a lot between people.
It can. So researchers are using advanced computer models to study platelets, those tiny blood cells crucial for clotting, characterizing them by factors like age or specific proteins on their surface. The goal is to understand precisely why some people don't respond well to these medicines, or why others experience side effects.
Getting down to the molecular level of why it works for some and not others.
Exactly. This deep dive into individual platelet behavior is leading towards highly personalized and potentially far more effective prevention strategies, ensuring the right drug in the right dose for the right person. Finally, in a crucial area for cancer patients, research is focused on predicting chemotherapy impact on the heart.
Cardiotoxicity, yeah, a
Yep.
serious concern.
A very serious one. Some chemotherapy drugs, like fluoropyrimidines, can unfortunately cause significant heart problems, ranging from chest pain to reduced blood flow, and rare cases, sudden death.
Devastating side effect when you're already fighting cancer.
Absolutely. So researchers like Dr. Charlotte Manistee and Dr. Adironk Abiodun are working to identify common genetic or physiological factors in patients who develop heart problems during chemotherapy. This understanding aims to spot at-risk individuals early, maybe before they even start treatment.
Proactive identification.
Right, so doctors can proactively protect their hearts, provide personalized care to minimize these life-threatening complications. This could involve adjusting the chemo regimen, prescribing protective medications, or offering closer cardiac monitoring, ultimately improving long-term outcomes and quality of life for cancer survivors. So, expert, these examples make it abundantly clear that the future of medicine looks a lot more like us individually. What practical steps can our listeners take with this understanding?
You're absolutely right. It's about recognizing your unique biology as the key to optimal health. So what does this mean for you, the listener? Well, when discussing treatment options with your doctor, don't hesitate to ask about any personalized approaches. Are there options available or in research for your specific condition? Show an active interest in how your unique genetic profile or clinical data might inform your care plan.
Be an active participant.
Exactly. Embrace the idea that your unique biology truly matters. And being an active participant, a true partner in your healthcare journey will become increasingly important. Ask questions, understand your options, and work with your healthcare provider to tailor a plan that works best for your body, not just the average. Now, if we connect this to the bigger picture, moving beyond monitoring and personalized treatments, imagine being able to literally rewrite the genetic instructions that lead to heart disease.
Whoa, rewriting our DNA.
That's the revolutionary promise of CRISPR-Cas systems. Simply put, CRISPR is a gene editing technology. It allows precise modifications to the genome, our complete set of DNA. Think of it like a highly accurate word processor for DNA, allowing us to correct typos or even insert new, beneficial instructions.
Sounds like science fiction, but it's real.
It's very real, and it's fundamentally simpler, more cost-effective, and far more accurate than older gene editing methods. The mechanism is quite elegant, actually. A Cas endonuclease, which acts like a pair of incredibly precise molecular scissors, is guided by a tiny piece of genetic material called a single guide RNA, or sgRNA. This guide RNA directs the Cas enzyme directly to a specific target DNA sequence. Once there, it makes a precise cut.
Like finding the exact spot in a book and making a change.
Exactly. But the technology has evolved rapidly, becoming even more refined. We now have advanced versions, like Nicase Cas9 or nCas9. This creates only single-stranded nicks instead of a full double-strand break. This is significant because it reduces the chance of unintended insertions or deletions, making the edits cleaner, safer.
Fewer accidental changes.
Right. Then there's catalytically dead Cas9 or dCas9. This binds to DNA without cutting it at all. This version is used instead for gene activation or repression, essentially turning genes on or off without altering their sequence.
So controlling genes without cutting them.
Correct. Even more precise tools include base editing. This allows for incredibly specific single nucleotide changes, like converting a C to a T or an A to a G without any double-strand breaks. It's like changing just one letter in a paragraph without disturbing the rest of the text.
Super precise.
Then prime editing takes it a step further. It integrates nCas9 with a reverse transcriptase enzyme and a special guide RNA. This sophisticated system can insert or replace entire genetic sequences, and it's projected to correct approximately 89% of all known human genetic mutations. Immense therapeutic potential.
89%, wow.
And finally, RNA editing using a system like Cas13 targets RNA instead of DNA. This offers a potentially safer and more reversible profile because RNA is transient, unlike permanent DNA changes. Gives doctors more control over the duration of the edit. These innovations are moving us closer to treating the root causes of disease, not just the symptoms.
That's truly astounding, the ability to edit our own genetic code. And here's where it gets really interesting again. This powerful technology isn't just for sci-fi movies. It's being applied to some serious heart conditions right now in labs around the world. For disease modeling, CRISPR is instrumental. Researchers are using it to precisely introduce and then correct mutations in human-induced pluripotent stem cell-derived cardiomyocytes.
Heart muscle cells grown in a lab from stem cells.
Exactly. This allows them to create and study conditions like hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, HCM, dilated cardiomyopathy, DCM, and inherited arrhythmias right there on a petri dish. They're manipulating specific genes like DNMT3A, SCN10A, SPEG, and RAD to understand their exact role in cardiovascular dysfunction, giving them an unprecedented window into how these diseases develop.
Creating models to understand the disease better.
CRISPR is also showing immense promise in treating monogenic diseases, those conditions caused by a single gene mutation. Take Duchenne muscular dystrophy, DMD. It often leads to severe cardiomyopathy and heart failure.
A devastating impact on the heart.
It is. Exon skipping and base editing strategies are being used in animal models to restore dystrophin expression that's a crucial protein for muscle function. And they're showing significant improvements in cardiac function.
Repairing the faulty genes' output.
Essentially, yeah. Similarly, editing specific mutations in the ME6 and TTN genes shows promise for HCM and DCM, aiming to correct the underlying genetic fault. For arrhythmias, allele-specific disruption targeting specific pathogenic variants like PLNR14 mutations has been explored, improving cardiac function and reducing life-threatening irregular heartbeats in models. It's like finding a critical genetic typo in the heart's blueprint and precisely correcting it before it causes significant damage. Even for widespread conditions like atherosclerosis, gene editing is being explored.
Hardening of the arteries, yeah.
Right. Disrupting the PCSK9 gene, which plays a key role in regulating LDL cholesterol levels via CRISPR-Cas9 knockout, has significantly reduced LDL cholesterol in mouse models, lowering the risk of plaque formation.
So targeting a risk factor at the genetic level.
Exactly. Potentially preventing heart disease by targeting metabolic risk factors at their genetic root, rather than just managing symptoms with medication later on.
Yeah.
Now, getting these incredibly precise tools into the right cells in the heart is a big challenge, right?
The delivery problem, yes. Huge hurdle.
Researchers are using various delivery methods. Adeno-associated viral, or AAV, vectors are the most common, like tiny harmless taxis delivering the CRISPR machinery.
Viruses modified to be delivery vehicles.
Correct. But the size of some CRISPR enzymes can be an issue for AAV delivery. So smaller CRISPR enzymes, like AsCas12, are being engineered to fit better. Other methods include nanoparticles made from lipids or polymers. These can be engineered to enhance cellular uptake and maybe reduce immune responses, making delivery safer and more efficient.
Getting past the body's defenses.
Right. And messenger RNA, mRNA, familiar from vaccines, offers transient and controlled editing without requiring DNA delivery. The changes aren't permanent, giving doctors more flexibility. There's also ex vivo gene therapy, where cells are edited outside the body and then reintroduced.
Like they do for sickle cell anemia.
Exactly. So the challenge isn't just the editing. It's getting the editor to exactly where it needs to be, safely and effectively, within the complex environment of the human body.
Which leads to another important question. What if we could not just fix the code, but actually regrow damaged heart tissue? Give a damaged heart a second chance at life.
Regrowing heart muscle.
That's the beacon of hope offered by stem cell therapy. Stem cells possess this incredible ability to differentiate into various cell types, makes them invaluable in regenerative medicine. In cardiology, their promise lies in regenerating damaged heart tissue in conditions once considered irreversible, like severe heart failure, myocardial infarction, cardiomyopathy, where heart muscle cells have died or are severely impaired.
Replacing the damaged tissue.
That's the goal, and we're seeing global advances in this field. In the U.S., research focuses heavily on embryonic stem cells and induced pluripotent stem cells, or iPSCs. Those iPSCs are particularly exciting because they can be generated from an adult's own skin cells, right? Avoiding some ethical concerns.
Right, reprogrammed adult cells.
Europe, UK, Germany, Sweden is a hub for collaborative clinical trials, meticulously ensuring these therapies are not only effective, but also rigorously safe and eventually accessible. Meanwhile, Asian countries like Japan and South Korea are emerging leaders, particularly with noteworthy iPSC research and several ongoing trials aimed at bringing these therapies to patients.
So, real clinical progress is happening.
It is. Breakthroughs include advancements in 3D bioprinting, allowing researchers to create complex, functional heart tissues using stem cells for potential transplantation, and also for drug testing, offering a more accurate model than animal studies. There's also been significant progress in understanding how stem cells can be used to reduce inflammation in cardiac tissues. Inflammation is a key factor in many heart diseases, so helping the heart heal rather than just replacing cells.
So, expert, while these are still emerging fields, CRISPR, stem cells, they offer immense hope for the future. What does this all mean for our listeners today?
For our listeners, while these therapies aren't widely available in clinics yet, it highlights a profound shift in medicine's potential. If you have an inherited heart condition or maybe a strong family history, staying informed about advancements in gene therapy and stem cell research could be particularly relevant for you or your loved ones. These are areas where breakthroughs could dramatically alter treatment paradigms for genetically driven diseases.
Keep an eye on the research.
Definitely. And more broadly, these therapies underscore the critical importance of ongoing medical research and innovation. They show us that the boundaries of what's possible in healthcare are constantly constantly expanding, driven by dedicated scientists working towards truly transformative cures. It's a future where we move beyond just managing symptoms to actually repairing and rebuilding tissue. But what's fascinating here is that with all this incredible promise, from smart wearables to gene editing, comes a unique set of challenges, hurdles we must address to truly bring these innovations to everyone safely and effectively.
Right, the practicalities and safety concerns.
Exactly. When we talk about technology and safety, for instance, wearables still need improved accuracy, especially for complex parameters like continuous blood pressure. And we need better ways to deal with those motion artifacts that can skew readings. Validating multi-state sleep categorization is also crucial, as sleep plays such a huge role in heart health.
Getting the basics right is still important.
Absolutely. For AI, crucial hurdles include explainability. Understanding how AI makes its decisions so doctors can trust and justify its recommendations, and validating models on larger, more diverse populations to ensure they work for everyone and are cost-effective.
Can't have biased algorithms.
Precisely. With CRISPR, we face concerns about off-target effects, those unintended genetic modifications that could have unforeseen consequences, as well as immune responses to the delivery vectors used to get the gene editing machinery into cells. Ensuring safe and efficient delivery to specific cardiac tissues without causing damage remains a significant challenge.
Safety first, always.
And stem cell therapies raise ethical concerns, especially those involving embryonic stem cells, though iPSCs mitigate some of these. There's also a risk of stem cells developing into unwanted cell types or unforeseen long-term effects, which requires rigorous monitoring. And let's not forget data security. The increasing reliance on telehealth and IoT devices for sharing sensitive health data heightens the risk of breaches and impacts on patient privacy, demands robust cybersecurity measures. Then there are the broader regulatory and ethical considerations. The rapid pace of innovation necessitates rigorous validation of these new technologies. We need robust ethical frameworks, especially concerning germline editing, which makes permanent changes that can be passed down through generations. That's a huge ethical area.
Yeah, the takeaway.
And we need updated regulatory frameworks that can keep pace with the science without stifling innovation. It's a tricky balance, protecting patients while fostering medical progress.
So, expert, what does this all mean when we look at the big picture? These challenges are far too big for any one country or research team to tackle alone, surely.
Definitely not. Requires collaboration.
Right. That's why leaders are increasingly calling for a coordinated, unified approach, especially in places like Europe, where healthcare systems can be fragmented. The MedTech Europe Call to Action 2024-2029 document frankly acknowledges that current national efforts to combat cardiovascular disease are often insufficient and fragmented. It urgently urges EU institutions to prioritize cardiovascular health with an ambitious, coordinated policy plan.
A unified front against CVD.
Exactly. They've laid out some key recommendations to make this happen. First, they call for a comprehensive EU cardiovascular health plan. This would address the complete patient pathway prevention, early detection, treatment, long-term care, and crucially, integrate gender-specific needs and the impact of environmental changes on heart health. It also includes establishing a cardiovascular health knowledge center and making CVD a priority in EU funding.
Putting resources behind it.
Second, they want to prioritize prevention, both primary, reducing premature mortality, and secondary, through timely screening and precision diagnosis, leveraging innovative tech. This could involve a European cardiovascular health check program, a standardized approach to identify risks early. For example, in Italy, a cardiology screening initiative for folks 65 and older found that valvular heart diseases, often underestimated, affected 1 in 3 elderly individuals.
1 in 3, that's much higher than expected.
3 times higher than previously estimated. This highlights the desperate need for structured, potentially life-saving screening programs to catch these conditions early. The third recommendation is to address inequalities in CVD care, ensuring equitable access to specialized hospital care and multidisciplinary centers, particularly in underserved regions.
Bridging the access gap.
Right. This requires targeted investments and cross-border collaboration to standardize awareness campaigns and share best practices. Studies, like in the UK, show the efficacy of integrating digital health tech in managing CVD. In France and the Nordics, they show the value of remote monitoring and telehealth. These underscore how technology can help bridge these gaps and ensure quality care reaches more people. France, for instance, launched a nationwide monitoring program with a new reimbursement model to ensure its sustainability and accessibility.
Making the tech accessible financially, too.
Fourth, They advocate to expand access to personalized healthcare and innovation. This means truly integrating digital health solutions and cutting-edge medical tech into everyday care. By leveraging the European Health Data Space, or EHDS, they envision standardized data registries to accelerate research and improve patient outcomes across the continent.
Using data more effectively, continent-wide.
Exactly. Pilot programs, in collaboration with the Public-Private Partnership on Health Innovation, or IHI, aim to ensure efficient and secure access to these innovations. We've seen this in action in Parma, Italy. Optimized pathways using minimally invasive tech for heart valve disease saved an impressive 3,900 EUR per procedure and increased hospital bed availability by 30%. Shows how innovation can enhance capacity and reduce burden.
Real-world benefits, both clinical and economic.
And in the Netherlands, the Monitor HF study found remote pulmonary artery pressure monitoring reduced heart failure hospitalizations by a significant 44%.
Another huge reduction.
This isn't just about new gadgets, it's about fundamentally rethinking how care is delivered. And finally, a call to ensure patient-centered policymaking. Actively involving the cardiovascular community, patients, caregivers, medical professionals in creating effective policy tools, and developing standard European CVV information systems focused squarely on patient outcomes and quality measurement.
Putting the patient voice at the center.
Absolutely. It's about making sure that no matter where you live, you have access to the best possible heart care, tailored to your needs and supported by the latest advancements. This comprehensive approach is designed to ensure that the incredible innovations we discussed today actually reach the people who need them most.
This raises an important question, though. What's next, beyond these policy initiatives and current breakthroughs? Where is the tech heading? Well, the future looks like more integrated, smarter, and incredibly energy-efficient solutions. We'll likely see AI for real-time diagnosis and prognosis moving beyond just post-processing data to real-time integration within the devices themselves, speeding up diagnoses and conserving power.
Instant analysis right on your wrist.
Potentially, yes. Imagine your wearable doing instant on-device AI analysis, giving you immediate actionable insights without needing to constantly send data back and forth. There's also a significant push towards self-powered wearables.
Devices that power themselves.
Exactly. Harvesting energy directly from the environment or your own body through piezoelectric nanogenerators converting mechanical energy like heart contractions into electricity, or pyroelectric nanogenerators using thermal energy changes from your body heat, or even advanced biofuel cells that use glucose from your body fluids.
Wow. No more charging.
Or much, much less charging. This means devices with significantly longer duration of use and greater miniaturization, making them more comfortable, less reliant on charging, and thus more broadly adopted. And importantly, researchers are looking at emotional state monitoring. Current wearable devices, by continuously evaluating subtle changes in heart rate, blood pressure, and respiration, could potentially be used as diagnostic parameters for conditions like anxiety and stress, offering a new dimension to holistic health monitoring.
Connecting physical and mental well-being through data.
Precisely. Ultimately, continued research and robust collaboration among academia, industry, regulatory agencies are absolutely essential to realizing this ambitious and really exciting vision for the future of heart health.
Well, that was quite the deep dive, wasn't it? We covered a lot of ground today, from tiny tech on your wrist monitoring your every beat to the cutting edge of gene editing that could quite literally rewrite the code of life.
A huge spectrum of innovation.
It really is. We're seeing a future where your heart health is continuously monitored by smart wearables, giving you and your doctor insights like never before. A future where AI helps doctors diagnose earlier and predict risks with incredible accuracy, spotting those subtle clues the human eye might miss. And a future where treatments are custom-tailored to your unique biology, like a perfectly fitted glove, maximizing outcomes and minimizing side effects. So remember those practical tips we discussed. Engage with smart tech thoughtfully. Discuss personalized options with your doctor. And always remember that a healthy lifestyle still plays a huge role in supporting all these incredible advancements.
Technology enhances, it doesn't replace the fundamentals.
Exactly. These technologies are here to enhance, not replace, the fundamental care we give ourselves.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's clear that the future of heart health isn't just about reacting to illness anymore. It's about proactively understanding and optimizing our individual cardiovascular journeys. This era of innovation promises not just longer lives, but healthier, more vibrant ones for everyone. By harnessing technology to truly personalize care and empower us all.
That's a powerful thought to ride off into the sunset with. Stay curious, folks, stay informed, and most importantly, keep that magnificent heart of yours beating strong. We'll be here next time, ready to unpack another fascinating topic in our heart health series. Until then, keep those boots on the ground and your spirits high.